So Bitcoin here, right? If you've been following the last few days or weeks through either TikToks or these live streams, which realistically I can catch you up just in here in a second, anyways. But we've been, pretty much tracking this recent current range, I guess you could say, right? So for the last about 6 weeks, give or take. So we had our range lows coming in right here, about $36,000, right? We had our deviation right here. These were looked at as our doomsday levels at the time, which once again, if you were in the Discord, Magic Internet Money basically, mapped out this entire move back on Christmas Eve, which was pretty crazy to see just kind of unfold as the time came on. Right, so we were looking for these two volume targets down here. We did not get the weekly NPOC, but the monthly did get hit. Not necessarily that we're completely out of the woods quite yet, but for the most part, you can assume that we're kind of beginning this uptrend now. We were looking for this box right here to regain levels to to start considering the upside, right? So we have a plethora. I keep using that word. I don't know why. Of upside targets here, volume targets, average targets, horizontals, whatever. But there's, obviously a ton of upside between where we are and, the all-time highs at 69K. And basically, we were looking to just kind of get through here to even start considering that. Otherwise, we were living below here. And then, these targets that we were looking at the time were most relevant. At the moment, really until we come back below here now, these are not that relevant at the moment, right? But this is what, we know what to look for if we do start losing this little box here. Now, this box isn't just a random box, right? So currently, actually, this is where our weekly pivot resides, about 40,500, give or take. We also have the CME futures gap that sits there as well for this week. Not that has to fill currently. Basically, when we came down and dropped down to this level right here, we actually filled the CME futures gap from last summer. So, can definitely last a couple months, can be whenever before we actually go back and fill that, if we have to fill it. There's tons of CME gaps that have actually never been filled. One of them's at $3,000. So, taking a look at this, it's pretty much we're in the same position we were at yesterday, right? So we're still essentially to start looking up. We're looking for this range high, about 45K, to break and hold, right? Basically get that level regained, hold that as support, and then we can start looking higher, and that's basically the level you're looking for, right? So we got a wick above that so far. We're kind of challenging into that resistance again. See if we can break through and hold. I know we got CPI numbers and stuff like that coming out here in about an hour. So whether or not that'll be something, that, around the time frame, if that's where we break, I'm sure that'll be the reason that everybody kind of lands on. Or if we pull back, right, same thing. So the levels, though, to watch are just that, right? 45K is basically our make or break to the upside. If we get rejected right here, right, we're still looking down to, this key level that we've been sitting on. We came down once or twice. Somebody had mentioned a bear flag. You got this is a 4-hour time frame, so we could probably, draw out an ascending channel right here or something of that nature that would, technically kind of come back down to this level. It's about 43,000, give or take. You lose that level, and right below us is our point of control. This is actually the volume target, essentially, of this range, right? You can see how as soon as we kind of held these lows down here, we basically just launched straight to the point of control right here. Held that for a minute. As resistance came through, ran up to the range highs. So we lose this range high, and then essentially, we look back down to the point of control, lose that, and then we're looking for this weekly pivot right there at the CME futures gap. We've also got our macro level range low coming in here. So another reason why we were looking for these doomsday levels, right? This level to get regained was because this is also a 2-year key level. It is also the macro level range low. So we re-entered our macro level at this point, right? So this is our macro range, I'm sorry. So this is the range that starts basically, this is the low, and it ranges all the way up to like 64K. So at the moment we're living inside that range. This would, coming back down and retesting this low would not, be out of the realm of possibilities here and still be, in good shape. Realistically, as long as we're living above this monthly open, we are still in good shape, right? So even coming down to any of these levels right here, we'd just be putting in a higher low, somewhere across the board here. And that is, once again, this is not even needs to be met at all, right? Like we could just get this break from here, and leading into the CPI numbers, right? I don't really follow too much of the news, but I know that one's coming out today, so I'm sure we'll get some reaction in the markets around those levels, around that time. But to me, it doesn't necessarily dictate, I guess, which way it'll go. You're still just kind of looking for this reaction right here. If we get this rejection, we're looking down. If we get this breakthrough, then we're looking up. With next key levels to the upside too is, as many of you know, we got this major one coming in about 47,700, right? Then we've got, right after that, we've got 49,500. We also got an NPOC right about $49,000 as well. So that's a pretty big volume target area right here, about 49,000 to 49,500. You also got an NPOC up here as well, about 51K. So it probably wouldn't be a very long journey to get back up to those levels. The 47.7 would probably be the first, a decent little area where we might see a stop for a moment. And then after that, like I said, regaining that 47, and it's pretty short stop all the way up to here to about that 51K. At this point, it sounds like a nice big move, but that wouldn't even be. I mean, that's about 10%. So 10% out of Bitcoin would be a pretty nice move here for the altcoins and everything else as well. So. What dates is this pivot pulled from? This is last week's average of price. All right, that's Bitcoin, basically, right? It's been about the same last 2 days here. We're just basically waiting to see what the reaction is at this level. So we break through, we're heading up. We get that rejection, look back down to these couple of levels right here. So take a move over to ETH. Very similar setup, right? ETH and Bitcoin, generally look pretty similar on their charts. Very rarely do you see, one or the other just doing something completely drastic from the other. But especially when things are kind of moving slow, they tend to kind of move in the same fashion here. So one thing, unlike Bitcoin, though, that Ethereum has not made any efforts into, not efforts, but has not made progress with compared, is that Bitcoin's starting to make higher highs, even on the daily time frame. So we're essentially starting a daily uptrend at the moment. It just needs to be confirmed with that higher low that eventually we'll get. But Ethereum is not even putting higher highs in on the 4-hour time frame yet, right? So that's something you kind of want to start seeing. So technically, Ethereum's still kind of in this downtrend, so to speak. We're kind of coming up to this level. Really want to see this area kind of taken out as far as coming in, putting that higher high in. That's about $3,400. Until then, just the risk of getting that drawback is still pretty much there. So same deal coming in. We got the range highs, we got our range lows. You're challenging into the range highs right now. Where's that point of control is all the way actually back down here. So if we lose this range high, this becomes a pretty big target once again. And that would be, that's going to imply that Bitcoin's actually, dropping pretty heavily as well. So, both of them will be kind of in unison, I'm sure. So we'll keep an eye on that. But, we got our point of control down here. You got your monthly open. Realistically, same deal. You kind of want to stay above this monthly open. Obviously, you got your previous low right below that monthly open. So even if you came back and tagged it, you know what I mean? Like, you're still going to be putting in higher lows over here. Got this weekly pivot coming in here as well. What else we got for Ethereum? We break this range though, and it's same deal as Bitcoin, right? There's really there's not too much between where we are and 4K. Let's see, I'll pop that on. Yeah, so I mean, to the upside, you're talking, this little area right here, which I have to imagine. I think that's our golden pocket as well. Excuse me. It is, right? So you break this level to the upside, right? Hold that. You essentially got a pretty straight shot up towards about 38.50. to $4,000. This is the golden pocket as well, and $4,000 is also our only NPOC. So that's a naked point of control, so that's a high volume target as well. So this zone up here is basically the next stop, in my opinion. If we get above this level and hold it, make a higher high, that's this. We'd probably see this area pretty quickly. But that all depends on this break of the range, right? We get this rejection, right? And once again, implying that, Bitcoin and Ethereum are probably going to move together. So whatever Bitcoin's going to do, we can assume that it's going to have the same implications on Ethereum and the rest of the alts here. And so below us, not only do we have the weekly pivot here at about 2900, let's just say, you got that monthly open. You really want to stay, at those two. So at that pivot as well, you got a 2-year key level coming in. So that's a big level of support both of these. So about 3,100 and 2,900, you got a 2-year key level and a 1-year key level coming in for Ethereum. So good support right below us. Really would like to hold on to this one. You lose that, hold on to the monthly. It's still going to give us that higher low to still kind of start producing that uptrend. So things really start melting. Obviously, you got the opportunity possibly come down here and get a double bottom. Once again, that point of control does sit down here at about 2,400, and then you got the range lows, of course. But I would imagine that these areas are going to put up a good fight, especially being like I said, 2-year key level, 1-year key level in that aspect. So yeah, and then aside from that, we break that range and we're pretty much there's really nothing in our way. I got some crazy dailies. I probably put too many on there, but there's really nothing of magnitude in the middle here. And then like I said, that quarterly key level comes in right here. You got the golden pocket and you got this NPOC, so this area becomes a pretty big target in my opinion. Pretty much every gap fills eventually. I mean, they may, like I said, there's gaps all the way down to 3K, so you think it'll drop due to CPI. Hard to think we'll get good news. I don't really follow these. I didn't even know the CPI news was coming out today till I just heard it from somebody. So I don't know, right? So like the same thing is just, we're looking for these, we're looking for a reaction right here regardless. So even if that news, if that 8:30 time frame is going to be when we get some news out of or some movement out of the market, it tends to correlate, I guess, with the timing. But generally, we're either going to lose this, we're gonna get rejected at this level, and we're going to head back down on one of these two, or we're going to break and hold and we're heading up. So the news is going to probably give everybody the why. Like they'll, if we just get this breakout now, or if you get this rejection, that's going to give everybody that reason. But to me, we just look for the charts personally. But I don't even know what's going on with all that, honestly. So Quant. Kind of a similar situation to Bitcoin. Basically a lot of the altcoins, Magic and I, we were going over this last night. He pointed out, pretty much a really good observation there that, all the altcoins, are pretty much along with Bitcoin, right, coming back up to, challenge some big resistance. So at the moment, this is the range high, the range low for Quant. But if you notice that this is also basically the area of support that we lost and just kind of melted to the downside. So now we're coming back up and we're basically re-challenging this area. Getting above this zone would be pretty big for Quant. And then, like I said, this is going to imply that we're probably getting that breakout out of Bitcoin. We're probably getting that breakout with Ethereum, and the entire market's probably going to truck up. The levels here in between us are about $148, right? We dropped down to like literally 89. Let's see what we were messing with here, right? So got my low, got my high. All right, so that monthly open down there, right? So this is actually the point of control as well. You can see that flicking on, flicking off. So, if we do lose this level and start heading back down, that would be a big area to pay attention for. That monthly open is generally, you want to kind of see that as a last stop, in the sense of holding your upside potential here, your uptrend, so to speak, for the current month. But with that point of control being there as well, if we do start coming back down, this would be that area that I'd be, really, really heavily looking for. Now that is $100, so that would be a 50% retrace. So once again, that's implying that the whole market's going to have to melt down. Or, I'm sorry, 33%, not 50%. So that's just if stuff hits the fan, and we're looking for some amazing entries, but we can't assume that, right? So we're still kind of looking to break this range to the upside. You got your pivot here as well from last week. This would kind of be, to me, a worst case scenario at the moment, right? I mean, everything could get worse, I guess, but that would be kind of like your no man's land right here. However, that point of control does become a pretty a nice volume magnet target. But if we break this range to the upside, you'll also notice we got the yearly open, right, which is another big level of resistance as we're coming up to it, or support as we hit it. And you'll notice that we got the next range point of control. So that's from this previous range over here. That next point of control, which is essentially we break this range, we're pretty much going to be aiming for that one. That one comes in at about 186. So with that, similar to how on Ethereum we got that golden pocket, we got that NPOC, and we got that quarterly all leveled up at about 4K. This is definitely that area for me. If we break this range and head higher, we've got, so I mean, we're like basically just trading right between these two daily levels, which once again was pretty much your previous last support right before we had this meltdown. So we re-entered between the two, kind of bouncing around there. Daily levels are obviously a little bit weaker to break through. It's not like a monthly or a weekly or obviously a yearly key level or anything like that. So breaking through here wouldn't be too hard. But once again, you're going to have to see how the whole market kind of reacts. So start breaking above this 160 level. I'm pretty much looking at this point of control right away. So we start breaking a hold about 160. We're probably heading up to about 187, give or take, in this range. And then after that, we're probably going to 210 and then 258. Once again, obviously this is under the assumption that the market does continue higher. We got to pay attention to Bitcoin as well. But yeah, Quant looks in good shape as long as we start closing above this 160 area. Like, let's just call it 165. Come through, make a higher high from this previous one. We're really still in a downtrend even for Quant as well. Hope you can see this. So we really want to see that kind of merged out. Sorry, it's starting to get really sunny in here. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much Quant, right? Getting a break above about 160, 165. We're pretty much going to this 178 or that next point of control right there, about 185. After that, we got 210 and 258. Really nothing much in the way of those two levels right there, right? So this 210 is going to basically introduce us to that higher high, right? So if we do get past this level, now we're on a pretty big uptrend is going into this, and then the 258 probably would come pretty quick. Now 258, 4K ETH, all these things are based on, once again, Bitcoin's going to have to start trucking up too. So you start seeing that 45K level broken on Bitcoin, run it up to 47, and then some. Then we can start looking up to these other levels here. But right now, everything is trading into resistance, right? So we're all at the top of the ranges on pretty much everything across the board. But everything is putting in higher highs and higher lows on these smaller terms for the moment, right? So, and yeah, like I said, to the downside, kind of be targeting this weekly pivot. What else we got? Like kind of in our current range. Oh yeah, you got the weekly and the monthly key level right there. So that would probably that's probably going to be where we come down to if we get a drop, about 18, give or take 15-18%, which isn't unheard of after an 80% rally. So we're gonna take a look at MTV. So in the Discord last night, I posted two versions of the MTV chart setup. One way that you could look at MTV, right? This is a small cap, by the way, so this is pretty high risk. With that being said, these go up pretty fast and they go down faster, right? So big opportunities. This could be a 50, 100x mover. assuming the market, reaches, 200K Bitcoin, 100K that kind of level. And then you get these altcoins really exploding at the end. But with that being said, this is not put your whole portfolio into these. This is, take that risk with like $500, $1,000, and, possibly turn that into 25 grand, 100 grand. But also plan on losing that, right? So, but yeah, with this MTV, right, it's a pretty popular one for the small caps. So you got this possible Adam and Eve double bottom, right? So this is one way to look at it, and I think we actually got a breakout, right? Somewhat. So you get a breakout level right here at the neckline, basically. You get your measured move, right, from going from the base to the neckline there to the breakout. So we got our measured move coming in here, which is essentially a 50% move. So once again, these small caps don't play around. So that's not a terrible move here. You possibly do have this breakout coming in. But once again, same deal as like Bitcoin, or same deal as anything else with Bitcoin. If that we get a pullback out of that, these drop double basically. So, but if we don't get any movement out of Bitcoin for the next 12 hours, 20 hours, something like that, a lot of these alts tend to just kind of run. A lot of people would really get worked up about worrying about Bitcoin's every move, and then you miss out on stuff like this because you don't want to enter it because you're thinking that Bitcoin's just going to drop 10% in the next 2 hours when it could just basically range for the next 2 days, then drop, or if it's going to drop or if it's going to rally, whatever. In those short periods of time, the altcoins obviously steadily move up. Very similar to even like just we looked at Quant, right? Quant rallied up 80%, and that wasn't all in just when Bitcoin was moving up, right? So Bitcoin dropped down to 33K, and from there, obviously Quant moved up with it. Everybody's probably freaking out, selling at lows and whatever, and then you see the altcoin slowly recovering, kind of without being even noticed. Then you get a move out of Bitcoin, and then they really pump too. So regardless, MTV, right, posted this last night. You got your breakout level. You got your yellow levels above here, kind of the short-term major targets coming in. So these are these are fib extensions. So it's the 1618, the 2.272, and then you got your measured move. So looking at it in that fashion is one way, right? And then I posted the other version. You essentially got your yearly open, which we just kind of regained here. And you want to see this kind of held as, well, not kind of, you want to see that held as support, right? So that's basically back down to where we just kind of launched up from. We've got a golden pocket right here that we're running into at the moment. So same deal, right? These are, resistance coming in and support on the other side. So we regain this golden pocket right here. And essentially we start looking up towards, the next key levels here. So with that being said, we got a quarterly level coming in here, right, at about 14 cents. So that'd be about a 30% move. So a lot of these tend to kind of line up with some of the like pattern trading as well, right? How we just saw that measured move is like a 50% move. Well, this quarterly level coming in at 30%, this is going to be probably tagged first, and then you get a little rejection out of here, right? So on the way up to that measured move that most people are looking for, they wouldn't be looking for this key level right here. So that's one level that I'd be looking for to the upside if we keep holding above this golden pocket right here. What else we got above us? We got another one right there. So that would actually be probably in line with that 50% measured move, give or take. That's about 44. So same thing, right? These are two levels that probably nobody's really paying attention for. Just looking for that one, 50% move. And, these would be better areas to kind of focus on because it's going to come in before those anyways. And then, you measured moves for one, like don't always get hit to the exact degree either. So it's always a little bit, if you're going to be trading that fashion, to kind of aim to take profits before the exact measured move, right? Because measured moves can also be, dependent on how you're looking at it, basically. And this is a big one. All right, so now we got actually the yearly key level coming in right here at 13 cents. So this is where I'd be looking at just short term, right? Obviously, like I said, MTV's got a ton of upside potential just because it's such a small cap. But once these small caps only thrive and survive in an upward moving market, right? So assuming Bitcoin's going to move on and all that jazz. But yeah, we got a yearly key level coming in right here at 13 cents, and you got the other two right here. So within these three ranges, right, or realms, these would still be some pretty nice little moves. I mean, without leverage, you're talking 13 to 40% moves short term. More than likely, we'll get some pullbacks, some rejections along the way, and then you kind of continue onward from there. That's pretty much MTV, right? Lose this level right here, we're probably coming back down towards this is that last weekly pivot right here. The yearly open will probably hold as some good support though, so I don't think we just completely melt down 50%. That's 30. I'm really bad at calculating the downside. But yeah, that yearly open about 15% to the downside. If we start getting rejections out of the market, we got a range that we're sitting on top of also. All right, so this is the current range that we were in. We basically just launched out of that, tabbed this golden pocket, came back down, retested the range high as support, and took off from there. But if we do re-enter this range, then we definitely be looking for this weekly pivot right here. And where is the point of control? Yeah, down there around that 7 cents area. So that's only if we start re-entering this range around 9 cents, and then kind of we'd be looking down. But this yearly open is going to come in as some pretty decent support. You still got this range high coming in as support as well. And then the next point of control to the upside would be actually right there at the yearly open. So that yearly open is definitely a level of support if we do come back down. Let's see where the next one to the upside. Oh, we got no more to the upside. All right, so yeah, from here we'll have to be crawling up. Pretty quick update today, I guess. About 35 minutes, not bad. We'll take a look at Polk. I actually posted that one in the group yesterday. Drop double and moves triple. The small caps are, I mean, you can turn some 10x's real quick, but they drop like 90%. So they're big risk, but they're big reward at the same time. And not only the small caps dropped, also with the market. By the way, everybody thinks that just like the low caps were the ones that got beaten the worst, and I mean, it was everything, right? There was some big key. I mean, Quant is a really good example, I think, right? Quant actually fell 80%, give or take. Quant 80%, yep. I mean, that's no joke for any altcoin, any asset in general. So that's bear market status right there. That we fell on some large caps here. All right, so I posted this Polk chart yesterday as well. For Khaled, I think you asked. Taking a look here, we're basically in this current range, right? Kind of based off our weekly pivot here. We've got an NPOC down here, so that's the only thing that's like a major concern. So this is a naked point of control, so this was not back tested, and this becomes a pretty big volume target now. It doesn't have to be met now, and if it doesn't get met now, then that's definitely something to watch for in the future when we start having another major pullback. This is a super small cap once again, everybody. So just to put that out there. But basically, we're hitting these range highs, same deal. You're kind of consolidating at the top. You're kind of making this little bullish pennant. Most people are probably paying attention for. But you get this break of this range right here. You got the range high. You're more than likely heading up to the next range. So this next range low comes in right here. This is also the yearly open. Okay. And then after that, essentially between this range here, I think that's also the point of control. Let's take a look. Point of control comes in right above this, so about 82 cents. You clear this point of control right here, and you're basically looking straight up to this 129, which is also another quarterly level, or a quarterly level. There's probably not even that much data, and this is the thing. There's not too much data on these smaller caps because they're pretty much brand new. But that would be where you see a lot of these small caps move really quickly because of that reason, right? They don't have a ton of data, of support and resistances for decades or years, kind of holding them back and holding them up. They clear small levels. This is our biggest level of resistance right now. Then it's this one, and then it's this one, and that's pretty much all you got in the way. And this is possible keyword. 150% play, assuming Bitcoin and the rest of the market tracks up with it. Well, I just wanted to go over Quant, MTV. I might put up like a TikTok or something later today and ask what people would like to see on the next live stream here. I try to do these between 7 to 7:30. I try to get started Monday through Friday, and we'll be back for it again tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day. Looking for this break of Bitcoin. I know that CPI report comes out in like 20 minutes, so we'll see what the move is on the market, if there's any reaction in the stock market as well. So thank you all for coming out, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you. Cheers.